Welcome to my video. I'd like to show you a hassle-free method of enlarging photos on Android devices. And it can be done offline as I am doing here on my tablet, which is not hooked up to the internet. Though there are many online services to make digital pictures larger, you may not want to use them. There are many apps that will reduce the size of images, but making one larger is rather awkward. You might not want to share your work when you're dealing with online services. They may want to keep the copyright or deal with other hassles such as time and or sharing payment methods, payment information, or you mightn't even have payment hooked up to your mobile device for security reasons. Or you just don't want to pay for a service. So, what I can't do with what I'm going to be showing you can't do. The image will not be enhanced or upscaled as an image would be for a Blu-ray player that would do so with a DDV, or 4K TV might do with a Blu-ray image. It will just make the pixel size larger, which can be useful in various instances. I will be using one of handyCloset Inc.'s apps, available in the Google Play Store, and it can create an image up to 3.7 megapixels in size. Actually, they're all output is 3.7 megapixels in size. These can be inserted in a document as I will be demonstrating. And this 3.7 megapixel size is perfectly adequate to do so. In most instances, you can actually even shrink the image some if you want. And there may be other instances where you'll find enlarging the digital photo is useful. I am going to do a demonstration with the app PhotoLayers-Superimpose Eraser. Their app called Background Eraser will do pretty much the same thing, though it's not the primary purpose of either of those two apps. Both apps are free. There is no payment required on the Play Store. They do have adverts, but the advert is extremely infrequent. There is one for each photo or image you modify, and they only show up when you're online. Now let's demonstrate the process in Google Docs here, but first I'd like to point out that image is the icon for PhotoLayers-Superimpose Eraser, the app I will be using. At one time in Google Play Store, you could download very large icons for apps. You can for some still, but most you cannot. And there is the icon for their background eraser app. So now that I've got pretty much the introduction out of the way, let's set my Google Docs file up here to include some more images. But before we go there, I'm going to go into my gallery app. First, I'm going to close the image here. You've got two on the top there. There are two images of a little puppy with balloons over top of them. You can actually see the names of the files there. I'm going to go with the one that's up in the top left corner. It is the smaller of the two. I shrunk the original image to do this demonstration. I decided that I wanted one of, 1,800 pixels high, or 1,080 pixels high, and it came out as 633 wide. Now let's go into properties here, and we'll take a look. Yep, resolution is 634 pixels wide, 1080 pixels tall, and it's a 0.7 megapixel image that takes up 510.7 kilobytes of storage. Of the two, that is the one in the top left corner. So let's go back into my docs file and we'll insert a small image just to show what a small image will do in here. You notice in my gallery app the background was gray. I've set that on purpose in my gallery app so you can see the border of the photo. This is an irregular photo. However, it does have a regular rectangular transparent background, which is where the cursor presently is placed. Let's get the keyboard out of the way and you can get a better idea. It's not super tiny, it's smallish. If you're starting out with a smaller image than that, such as you can put it downloaded from any website, Wikipedia, or a shopping channel, and you want to keep a record of something, you could use this method to enlarge it as well. So let's go into the process of actually enlarging that photo. I need to go to Photo Layer. There it is there. It's 3 up from the bottom, 3 in from the left. We're in it. I'm not going to go into the full details of using this app. I'm just going to load the photo. The small one, which is in the top left. I am now on the page that you start with when you go into the app, when you load a photo, where you can crop the image. If I crop the image or leave the image uncropped, this app always yields a result that is 3.7 megapixels in size. So if I were to crop a small image like that, which is the dog, he would come out as 3.7 megapixels in size as the one I am going to pick here. And with this app on the next page, we could crop out the bit of balloons that are around, or erase the bit of the balloon that are around the dog, which is the primary purpose of this app. So we're done cropping, and that's what we want to do. Here we go. You go into cut when you want to erase part of the image, and there are various tools in there, which is the primary purpose of the app. That's down the bottom. Now if we go up to the top right corner, it says save. I'm going to hit save. There are various other options sometimes that come up when save, when you actually do something that's of the purpose of the app. I'm just going to hit my sure to save, and it saved it. I don't need to hit finish. I hit finish when I'm online. I get to see an advert, and then after the advert's over, I can go on to my next project. Okay, let's go into my gallery app, which I have already set up to be in the folder where results are placed from this file, or this app. There we are. You notice I'm shrinking it in the background. There's no border, no square border around it. As I said, it's got a translucent background on it, and so the background is the same color as the background I chose for my gallery app. It's gray. Let's go look into properties of this one. Go down to resolution. At the end of the line there, it says 3.7 megapixels, and the size is 1395 wide by 2640 tall. The aspect ratio doesn't matter. You can make any aspect ratio you want, but the result is always 3.7 megapixels. Now this image is the closest one to the top left corner, so when we get back to our docs file, we'll be picking that image to insert. Image, photo, the one in the top left corner. I get the keyboard out of the way so you can see much more of the thing, of what's going on here. Look at that. Quite the contrast in size. I wouldn't have to go into this every time I look at it and manually expand it to say even that size, which is certainly probably be about as small as, or say even that size, which would be about as small as I'd want in here. Let's go back to the small size it was at. Now, I'm using the translucent background. So the background there is, well, there's no real background when I put the image in this docs file. It's this background of what I'm using, which I selected as a dark background. How about I show this with a regular rectangular image. Let's go back into my gallery folder where I put some files here. Next line down, there's two bus images on the left there. I'm going to go with the far left. In the title, I put something about the size. This one's 820 wide, and the smaller one's 635. For my device, I found 635 will allow me to stack 3 images side by side, all 3 across. So, you know what? Let's go back into PhotoLayer. We're finished. We're offline, so there's no advert. I'm going to take the smaller one, which is this one here. I'm not going to crop it. I could crop it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to save it. It's been saved. Back to my gallery app with this gray background. Okay, the background is gray due to the aspect ratio. If I change the size here, there we go. Let's hit Properties. Down in resolution. The result, 3.7 megapixels. The size is 2784 wide, 1324 high, and the file size is 3.3 megabytes. It's somewhat more dense than the one I showed you previously. Okay, this one is in the top corner there, the top left corner. Back to my, whoops, I'm in the wrong one. Back to my docs file. Let's insert an image. Insert an image. That's the file I made. Now let's insert one of the where it started from. Smaller one. Okay. Well, the image I inserted in my document is definitely bigger than a postage stamp. I wouldn't have to go in every time and do this with it. You notice if the headboard or the route designation on the bus there, it's quite fuzzy because of the small size I came from. How about when I do the same thing with the other size photo? Let's just insert one of these. Oops, what did I do? I did something wrong. I went to my gallery app instead of inserting one. I hit the plus mark up the top. Here we go, photo. This is a slightly larger image. Now let's go into photo layer. This is the photo we just made. Let's take the larger photo, and we're not cropping that, so it's exactly the same image, and we just save it. And back to my gallery app. Let's go out here. The last one I saved is from the slightly larger photo. Properties. Remember what I said about the previous image? This one's almost the same size. It's 2780 wide by 1325 high. However, the file size is slightly larger. This one is 3.5 megabytes, whereas the one I created a moment ago is 3.3 megabytes. We go insert that into my docs file. Image, larger one. There's not a substantial difference. Both were The one up top was enlarged about 4 times linearly. The one down the bottom was enlarged about 3 times linearly. So the one down the bottom is 9 times larger. The one up top is 16 times larger. So I don't know if you really need to go to the full hassle of actually having your photos digitally enhanced through an AI if you're just going to use keep a simple record of your photos. So if you're interested in enlarging a photo for insertion, for simple insertion in either a school document, your own records, give this a try. That's it for my video.